I'm Alpha Trivette. Here's my 5-minute take on the world, starting the clock for you right now, saying thanks for listening and or watching wherever you may be. Deeply appreciated. A lot of response to yesterday's show. We'll hopefully talk about that if we don't run out of time. But first, I'll give you the brain stretcher question for today. 2/3 of Americans surveyed recently said they would not do this even once for $1 million. Wouldn't do it even once for $1 million. What is it? We'll find out in about 4.5 minutes. All right, what's going on in the world? Some really weird things. All right, first of all, the Gulf of Mexico. The cap was knocked off of that hole, and it is gushing even more than ever. So that's great news, isn't it? Meanwhile, a judge has overturned the right for the state of Louisiana to dredge up berms to protect their marshlands. Governor Bobby Jindal down there said, look, if the federal government won't act, I got to do something, try to protect my marshlands as much as possible. And this federal judge says, no, you can't do that until we do an environmental impact statement. Well, how long is that going to take, number one? And how much worse could the impact on the environment be, for crying out loud, Your Honor? The World Cup. Boy, what a big win for the USA yesterday, huh? Now they advance to, I guess, the Sweet 16. 16 nations will advance. England, Mexico are among them. And hopefully they will avenge a loss, because their first round game is against Ghana on Saturday, 2:30. Ghana beat them in 2002, so we need to get back at those Ghanaians, or whatever they call themselves. This is a weird story. Al Gore, California. He is accused of sex crimes. Yep. No, not Bill Clinton, Al Gore. Apparently he was in a hotel and needed a rub-down, a little massage. So he called a licensed professional masseuse. I mean, this is not one of those, hey, knee rub you all over masseuses. This is a licensed therapeutic masseuse, 54-year-old woman. And apparently Al got a little amorous, grabbed her, groped her, she said, and threw her on the bed and gave her this come-hither look. Can you imagine Al Gore giving a come-hither look? At any rate, this woman in the police report called him a, quote, crazed sex poodle. Just can't picture Al that way, can you? Apparently he did learn a lot under the Clinton administration. Took him a while to put it into practice, though, it seems. In California, too, all right, this is just... Where's the logic? Where's the common sense? Where is somebody saying, no, we're not going to do this? EBT cards, they are the sort of debit cards that we issue now to welfare recipients. And we can't even call them welfare recipients, for crying out loud, because the stigma of getting welfare and receiving a welfare check was just too much to bear. So we give them these EBT cards, debit cards. Well, now in California, you can use your EBT card, your welfare card, at ATMs in casinos. Really? Okay, so it's meant to buy food and essentials, and you're going to go gamble with it? Yeah, that's my taxpayers' money being spent wisely. Lots of great comments on yesterday's show concerning civility, and I appreciate them from Georgia and Meg and Tony. Try to get to all of them, maybe not right now, but maybe next time. First of all, Georgia told a story about trying to get on a MARTA train here in Atlanta, and she and a couple of friends who have varying degrees of disability were chastised by a MARTA employee who was pushing a bucket and a mop because they were in her way when she was trying to board the train. When a gentleman explained that they had some disabilities, she simply sneered at them. Well, that's customer service now, isn't it? Meg talked about being, when she admitted being a progressive Democrat, and that's another story, Meg. Progressive Democrat? Okay, really look into progressivism and its roots and what it's all about. I kind of wonder, I often quote Inigo Montoya, I do not think that word means what you think it means. Because progressivism has some serious roots in some stuff that's even worse than communism and socialism, okay? And they do come from that, but there's some even sicker stuff involved in that. Anyway, Meg said that being a lefty, she says I don't suck, which is probably the greatest endorsement I've had in a long time, Meg, so thank you for that. She also talked about being in North Carolina and admitting to being a progressive Democrat, and I guess some right-wing people didn't like that. They boycotted her business, they threw rocks at her house and her business and keyed her car, and those things are criminal. They should not happen. And in the civil discourse of politics or whatever else, those kind of acts are criminal acts and should be punished as such. So don't think, though, that they're confined to violence from the right, because there's violence from the left too. I mean, look at what's going on in Toronto right now with the G20 meeting, okay? And again, yes, we can have civil, polite discourse and agree eventually, as long as you agree that I'm right and you're wrong. Huh? Kidding, okay? Just kidding. But progressivism, more on that tomorrow. Right now, the answer to today's brain stretcher question, 2/3 of Americans say they wouldn't do this even once for $1 million. And that is allow their spouse to have sex with someone else. Really? $1 million? Just what is your price then, huh? What would it be? All right. That's today's Brain Stretcher, and that's my show. Thank you. We'll see you next time.